What's up with y'all young boys? Welcome back to another video. Today we got a video by Some Ordinary Gamer. This is a deep web exploration video, a deep web iceberg explain video. If you guys don't know what the deep web or dark web, if some may know it is, it's basically another part of the internet where you could go, you could do a whole bunch of illegal stuff, you could watch illegal stuff, you could hear about illegal stuff, and not just illegal stuff, you could just find a whole bunch of random stuff on there that's not on the other form of the web that we all use and that what YouTube's on and stuff like that. I want to learn more about it. I heard about it, don't know much about it, but we're going to learn together and we're going to see just what the deep web has at the bottom of this little iceberg.
Today's video is brought to you by manscaped.com. The few people in the business willing to let me talk about one of these images all about an iceberg, and we sort of look at the top, you know, where the sort of the normie sector where everyone sort of understands what's going on, everyone can see it, all the way down to the very, very bottom where absolute degeneration occurs. Now, before we continue into this, we really have to explain why this is important. Now, for an iceberg video, deep web is probably the best topic you're going to be looking at. And today's iceberg is a bit satirical, but there are elements of it that I would say are worth expanding upon. Now, the deep web is an iceberg. You know, if you look at the internet as it is,
my bad, I'm on my squeaky chair
right now by watching this video is a very small percentage of the global internet machine out there. You see, what we look at called the surface web is basically indexed pages.
I used to hear, you know what's crazy? Have you guys ever watched like creepy pastas or those scary stories? I remember when I was in 8th grade, I think I finally found out about stuff like that. And I think this guy was the one that actually he did an exploration video. I think the first one I watched that, and then I found out about creepy pastas from this guy. And there was a dude that did reactions to the videos, and I watched it. And I used to play Destiny. I know you guys remember that game Destiny. It was on Xbox 360 and then it was on Xbox One and stuff like that. I used to play that heavily. I have like 4,000 hours on Destiny 1, but I used to play that shit heavily. And sometimes I used to listen to the creepypastas and like his videos and stuff while I used to be playing it. It was like in the Crucible and stuff like that. I used to play that. But man, look at this. Look at all the information. So there's two different ones. There's a deep web and then there's a dark web. I heard about this Tor shit though. And this is where all the illegal stuff goes on down here, I guess.
You know, pages you would find through a spider searches or a Google search, if you will. A Bing search, if you're desperate. A Yahoo search. Whatever you want to call it. But when you look at the deep web, it's basically the parts of the internet that are completely unindexed, and mostly for good reason. It's very uneventful. And then when you get to the dark web, which is a term that's used interchangeably with the deep web, and it really shouldn't be, is when you get to the quote-unquote illegal, scary side of the internet.
See, I didn't know that.
Now, to clear up misinformation, we're going to really explain. The deep web is the unindexed side of the internet. It could be really anything. It could be YouTube pages themselves that have never been allowed to be indexed by Google or YouTube themselves. It could literally be databases hidden off for good reason. It could be anything that's just unindexed. When we look at the dark web, we're going to refer to it as pages that are indexed and non-indexed, but primarily serve illegal material or allow you to perform illegal activities. Think of websites in any page that could be spreading illegal things, like, for instance, software. Piracy is a big issue. It's illegal. We could kind of qualify that as the dark web, but I think a better example is something like an online marketplace like Silk Road back in the day, or Alpha Bay Markets, or even what we saw a week and a half ago, the cartel markets. Any place that you can buy drugs, firearms, or potential hitmen, even though 99% of them are fucking federal agents. It's a location where illegal media can be exchanged, and most exchanges are done in cryptocurrencies anyways, to hide an anonymized transaction.
I think this is where Bitcoin was from right here. I remember hearing about Bitcoin a long time ago. I'm talking about more than a decade ago. And Bitcoin was used to like buy drugs and shit like that Silk Road shit. I've heard about that, but we're going to do a video on the Silk Road too. But I find it crazy how Bitcoin was like primarily used for like stuff like this. Like people were wasting like hundreds of Bitcoin just to buy some blow. Think about that. Think about you just wanted some blow, some doty, some shit like that, just to go partying, and you probably spent like 112 Bitcoin on just some blow, some doty, some pizza probably. and that 112 Bitcoin is worth over like $1 million, $10 million now or some shit.
Now let's go look at the actual iceberg.
Could have been a
itself.
millionaire.
This is a long iceberg, basically covering the common web, the surface web, the Bourgeois web, the deep web, the charter web, and closed shell system access. That's where we're getting a little meme-tastic. But let's start off with the very first section real quick. Now, again, while all these exist, I'm just going to cover real quickly. There are certain moments, like for instance, when you see closed shell system, a lot of this is really just buzzwords being tossed at you. I'm surprised I'm not seeing things like blockchain being tossed in to sort of scare the audience, but a lot of this is just buzzwords, to be real with you. I mean, shell is literally just a program that exposes the OS to users and allows interoperability between programs. I mean, if you know anything about a shell, we looked at it when we were covering half of my Linux videos anyways. Now listen, 80% exists below this line. Internet adds a little bit of bullshit, a little bit out there. I mean, when you're reading things like polymeric Fauci-Gold derivation, okay, you've already known you're step beyond the line. But with that being said, let's go to the first side of this iceberg, and that is level 0.
Stop scrolling. Were you locked up at San Bernardino Juvenile Halls?
I'm tired of hearing
High
about
Desert,
San Bernardino.
Gilbert Street?
Now, as much as this image floats around and is a commonplace for deep web iceberg lore, we're going to look at the common web. Now, nothing's really listed in this tier. They really just say everything, and I guess it is just everything. I mean, I guess a better example would be to say YouTube and all that kind of nonsense. I mean, anything that's really accessible over Google would pretty much show up at the tip of the iceberg. I mean, even the super secret IP address called localhost, which is actually 127.0.0.1. Any of you emerging hackers, if you're willing to break into the government, that IP address is something you should remember wholesale. So let's go to the next level. Level 1, surface web. Now, surface web is an interesting section. This is just one tier below the actual common web. And for all we know, this is anything that's indexed and available at the touch of a search. Reddit is the first thing mentioned here. And Reddit, as we all know, is the first website in this situation. And this is pretty much surface web wholesale. It's interesting to realize just how much of a range of services and content you can actually find on Reddit alone. And usually it can just be completely harmless shit all over, but a lot of the dives that I like to do are on sort of the grimmer side of Reddit, if you will. And from time to time, you can't deny that it's one of the easiest points on this list to hit if you actually want to look at some real proper fucked up shit from time to time. Alright, I mean, for every good subreddit that's about cat pictures and everything, there are just as many subreddits that lead you down a completely opposite path. Reddit boards related to combat footage from wars that you can literally see dudes being blown up by fucking IED devices. Reddit boards involving narcos and bloody battles that they fucking partake in between one another for the sake of it, okay?
Shit is
and
crazy.
Everyone can just look at it.
They got a whole Twitter for like cartel stuff.
It's completely archived
insane
for everyone to see. It's actually a big deal. And for the longest time, one could actually go to Reddit boards like Gore and watch people die before Reddit actually banned these boards for glorifying and encouraging violence. No way, really? And meaning that you didn't even need to go to Live League. You didn't need to go anywhere. You didn't even need to go to Run the Gauntlet. It was all freely accessible on the largest aggregation site on the internet. Now, moving on to Dig, I actually thought this was going to be Dig, like the actual website Dig, the Reddit competitor. But given that it's not Dig, alright, given that it probably isn't that, and honestly, if it was Dig, it'd be a really weird thing to add because Dig is literally just Reddit, except the losing version of it. See, what I think this is referring to is the network tool that allows you to query domain name systems. It's really just used for primarily troubleshooting, but if you have a Mac or a Linux-based system that actually has a terminal in it, Macs usually have this built in completely, you can literally fire up a terminal right now and use the dig command to look into websites. You can even access easy web-based tools right now to do the exact same thing as well. Technically, this is surface web material too. Each of these domains that you're ever going to dig out are freely accessible, and you're probably hopping between them if you're on something like, say, YouTube. Now, temporary email services. Okay, this one is really cool. It's any service that grants you a temporary email service to pass any web page. Usually it's used for registration services, like let's say you want to make a quick burner account on, you know, some really weird furry temporary website, this is pretty much what you're going to be using, these temporary email services. But there is one key issue. Over the last several years, most, if not all, of these services have basically been blacklisted anyways, and usually they don't work for any major service any longer, so you can't make infinite Twitch accounts using this anyways. Most of these temporary email services have basically been blacklisted, so anytime you try entering them, they're just going to tell you you have an invalid email address. Even though it's not invalid, they just know that it belongs to the shady side of the internet. Newgrounds. I don't know why this is mentioned, but it's an American website that's basically centered around Flash animations and video games. I used to spend a lot of time to it. Honestly, this was my childhood right here. I could probably say Newgrounds was like a third parent, okay? It was my babysitter. And it was a terrible babysitter now that I think about it. It's definitely categorized on Surface Web, like, no doubt. Why this specifically makes the list, I actually have no clue. I think somebody liked playing Pico's School for some reason. But I mean, if you've never been to Newgrounds, you're really missing out. You definitely need to open up another tab and check out some real raunchy Web 1.0 history. Vampire Freaks is real interesting. This used to be a real social media network catering to literal goths. I mean, it was shut down last year, and from what I recall, it had a Web 1.0 forum design, and at its height, it had about 600,000 actual members, and at any moment, there was an active user base of around 2,000 to 4,000 people just sitting there. I mean, it's pretty impressive for a website that's specifically catered to just goths. You'd find topics, anything, you'd find any range of topics. I mean, people telling you about the best deals at Hot Topic, all the way to completely politicized topics that had nothing to do with gothic individuals. And I'm sure it holds a very small distinction of getting some goths laid. And I mean, there is a very small chance, law of averages, some of you people, the viewers, might have actually had your parents meet on this website. Imagine being conceived to fucking Vampire Freaks. That's truly magical, okay? I'm just gonna be real with you.
Dude, that's fucking crazy. Imagine you ask your parents how they meet and they say some shit like that. That's tough. Hey, if I'm not talking as much in this video, as you guys can see, I'm just real interested in this topic, honestly. And I don't really want to talk that much over it, but from time to time, you will see me yapping. Like right now, I'm about to go on a yap session. No, I'm just playing. But
it's a shame.
Imagine your parents
really
meeting on a vampire
that,
dating
not
site.
many people
Well, not a
really
dating
know
site,
about.
but like a forum.
I mean, you'd really have to be around there at the time to know about it. I don't even know much about it. But then again, I'm not goth to begin with. For what it's worth, it's actually still online. And if you're interested in like Vampire Freaks merch, you can go check it out. But I mean, as far as the social network is, that shit's gone.
Hi, welcome to Flash Masters. My name is Max. I want to talk to you about what we do here. So mainly we program automotive computers. We do anything from...
Foreign social networks is like a really odd one to put in. This is like one of those things where they used to, again, pad out the entire length. I guess the best example for this is, say, since we're in North America, my primary audience, for us, services like Facebook are sort of like the ultimate god of social media. But then, like, I guess a rough equivalent is like, let's say you live in China. Well, I guess for you, Facebook isn't even a reality. That shit's straight up banned. For you, it's all 10 cents QQ. So I guess that's what we're looking at with foreign social networks. Again, it is technically Surface Web, but it's just a weird mention to have. Or I don't really get it. Every country really every region has their own social networks out there. It's a weird point, so let's just move past it. Human intel tasks seem to refer to any human task, or honestly, I have no idea why they mentioned it. I think they just wanted to pad out more bullshit, but I guess if I was to equate it to something deep web related, it would have to be something like the strategic intelligence networks that we actually witnessed on the deep web from time to time on our browsings. And those are just repositories of documents related to a bunch of weird topics regarding defense and various other materials. I mean, it's really just any repository. For instance, Parasite was a very popular one that we looked into that basically allowed us to read weird zines on cannibalism and drug production and any of that nonsense. So I guess if we had to really equate it to human intel tasks, then that's pretty much where it comes down to. Any intelligence network that you could find on the deep web filled with your favorite crackpot conspiracy theorists. So web hosting and MySQL databases are interesting because they're just basically general pieces of internet related to buying and hosting of domains, really. And MySQL is effectively just a relational database management tool used for housing data, logging, and basically used extensively in e-commerce solutions. It's basically a backbone of healthy internet infrastructure. Why we have mentioned this in the Surface Web section when it could very much be applicable to every section of this trench, every section of the iceberg, is again beyond me. All right. Again, a lot of this is just
very off topic. Y'all know that G Fuel is like redoing their whole entire brand. Just wanted to put that out there.
Buzzword and buzzword. College campuses is basically another joke entry, but I guess to entertain the idea, most colleges have public-facing pages that we could just freely access. And we classify that as the surface web. But as soon as you log into your, college or university, there's a level of under the hood pages that you're accessing specifically for you. And at that point, it's safe to say that that is the deep web. It's completely excluded from search result engines, and it's usually only accessible on their local hosted servers, requiring certain levels of authentication. So in that idea, yeah, we can sort of see surface and deep web sort of combining together. I guess one cool example I can sort of give you is VT Underground, where we actually looked at this a few times. It was actually cataloged archives of VT Underground tunnel systems that one could just freely access and view at any given moment, filled with
Shit looks
maps,
like a catacomb,
exploration logs, and whatnot. Now, level 2 is where we're getting into the Burgi web, okay? So if you don't know what the Burgi web is, well, get ready, because the Burgi web, for those of you wondering what the definition is, I have no clue. Listen, if this is some sort of new Twitter speak or DeviantArt speak that I'm getting into, then please fill me in. But I have no idea what Burgi is supposed to get down to. What I do know is half of the stuff on this iceberg, so let's go down through it. Now, number 1 is FTP servers, honeypots, loaded web servers. So for FTP servers, all right, in this instance, yes, some are indexed on the search engines that we browse around on the internet anyways. And we've seen this on the deep web as well, with earlier mentions of that signal intelligence network. It was basically giving me that FTP front end. Now, for most repos that are accessed on the web FTP interface, this isn't, again, exclusive to the deep web. If you ever click on it and you basically see a list of just folders and files that you can download, yes, you're on like a web FTP HTTP connection, right? That's effectively what you're getting down to. In fact, this isn't, again, just purely deep web or anything of that. This isn't Burgi web. This is any kind of web. Honeypots, these aren't exclusive to, again, one section of the internet. Tons of web pages exist for the sole reason to capture and gather information on people willing to commit crimes. Those hitman websites that we constantly come across never actually have...
So this is where you get the hitman shit. Welcome to Sinaloa Cartel Marketplace. Under the shelter and protection of the deep web, our hundreds of Sinaloa Cartel members offer you high-quality drugs, guns, and professional assault services at affordable costs. We can kill any person. We can kill any person you want, as long as it is not a president or very important person that is guarded by military. We can make the murder look accidental. You're not supposed to say these words on YouTube, huh? I'm not saying any more of those words, but this shit is crazy.
Real hitmen on them. I would wager both of my testicles that 99.9% of those websites are completely fake.
I heard about that. Like y'all ever heard about people like hiring somebody to kill their spouse or some shit like that, hiring somebody to kill their husband or wife or whatever, and then they ended up being like the police or some shit like that, or the FBI. That shit is crazy. Imagine getting somebody knocked off in GTA, or paying for somebody to get knocked off in GTA, and then the police come and get you.
The only reason I say 99.9% of the time is because I cannot prove that it is 100%. But internally, yeah, I'm sort of inching towards that on a personal basis. See, none of these sites actually have hitmen. Most of them are just actually hosted by people scamming money out of you, which if you ever go to their websites, grab their Bitcoin wallet, run a history check on it, and you'll find tons of cash flowing through. But even if that's the case, most of the times it's actual police agencies who host these websites to entrap individuals who are willing to commit actual conspiracy of murder. Most of the easily accessible hitman websites and criminal pages on the deep web are, again, 1000% honeypots. If someone calls you through a surface web social network like Facebook and Twitter and pretends they're a hitman, there's a very good chance that that person, say it with me, is a cop. So yeah, honeypots
100%. And if you out here paying for somebody to get knocked off on Facebook, you deserve to go to jail. That's just like natural selection. Just put yourself in handcuffs.
This isn't the Burgie web. This is just all web. Locked Google search results. Now, that's actually fairly interesting. So basically, if you don't know what this is, it refers to Google results that have actually been blacklisted by Google themselves. Now, you can find a few articles mentioning this kind of shit, but in general, there are moments where Google actually removes search results because by law they're being forced to. There are certain results like Loli and Lolicon that Google will actually remove because they just don't want people to get into it. I mean, when you look at the idea of Lolis in general, you're getting into some borderline illegal, illicit territory, and Google tends to agree on that side, so it does remove the search results, or at least if it doesn't remove them, it highly censors those results, so you're not getting blasted with like pornography as soon as you search for it. Now, there's actually a page you can pull up in the Wayback Machine because it's down now called hiddenfromgoogle.com, which allegedly actually has hidden Google search terms that, again, I can't confirm the validity of myself, but I don't doubt it's a thing. Google has been ordered from multiple countries several times to remove or limit search results. So that being said, I have no idea why we're using the term locked, by the way. I would use the term hidden. It's a little bit more correct, but hey, that's just a general idea. So if you didn't know about that, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. Ah, good old-fashioned 4chan. Now, 4chan is an image board website hosting content regarding almost every subculture of the internet. You can
4chan isn't on the regular web. You got to go on the dark web to get to 4chan.
go on there expecting content from My Little Pony.
Why was everybody doing 4chan videos back in the day and shit? Was 4chan on the regular web? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's go ahead and look this up. Wait, this shit is not on. Four chan is back after nearly 2 weeks. What the hell? Like, why was everybody doing like videos back in the day about 4chan if you can't even get on 4chan?
All the way to the paranormal occult, all the way to why my camera doesn't goddamn focus. I mean, 4chan does a lot, alright? It provides a lot of content. And for all 4chan is considered, it has been a focus on this channel numerous times. We looked at it plenty of times when it comes to paranormal activities, paranormal threads. Heck, a while ago, we literally, not too long ago actually, we just looked at a supposed cult infiltration on their infamous Synchronicity journal project that was kept on the website. I don't know why we isolated 4chan specifically. Honestly, 4chan is a lot more tamer than other boards. I mean, if you want to get real with me, there's places like 8chan that are just like a league above what 4chan is doing on a regular basis. But, you know, I guess they put this on here for the meme allure. Most normies are going to look at this shit and they're going to be like, 4chan, ha! I've read about that on the good old AOL, and that's pretty much where you're going down with. 4chan is just a giant meme at this point, and it really shouldn't be. You know, when you go to 4chan, aside from the politically, like, poll and B, most boards do their own thing, and they actually lead to some pretty cool, you know, threads from time to time. RSC is what I believe to be RuneScape Classic, and if we're putting that on the same level of honeypots and degeneracy, then I actually tend to agree. Nothing but degeneracy.
People be getting scammed on RuneScape. What is that guy? Oh, fuck. I can't even think about his name. Fuck. What is his name, dude? But bro was getting, like, scammed off of RuneScape. He has a whole bunch of stories about it.
Ever come out of that game?
There's a bunch of scammers on this game. Is this what this shit is? Y'all motherfuckers getting scammed on this? How you getting scammed on this? What can you even do?
That there's some shitty group out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere Europe.
I gotta look this shit up. Wait. How you spell this? RuneScape. RuneScape. What is RuneScape? RuneScape is a fantasy massive multiplayer. Alright. If this shit's online, I can see why somebody's getting scammed. Y'all ever played Elder Scrolls Online? If it's anything like that, I can see how you can get scammed. Real shit.
that's actually somehow using Jagex's totally unoptimized jumble of code from back in yesteryear to launder large sums of cryptocurrencies somehow. This is a joke, by the way.
You could launder money through RuneScape?
Reiterate that. But anyways, RuneScape Classic, for some reason, that's Burgie web material, even though I'm pretty sure we were all playing that when we were literally fucking embryos. Now, Free Hive is a meme for this list, because I can't even begin to tell you what it actually is. From what I'm understanding, Free Hive, if I had to guess, sounds very closely to products like LimeWire or Kazaa. So if you need to get any more shittier malware for all your MP3 downloads, then this is really it, okay? And if you remember LimeWire, congratulations, you're really fucking old at this point. Let Me Watch This, or commonly known as
LimeWire, is still around.
is a web service that anybody can use to watch movies for free through the internet. And this is actually similar to something like 123 Movies, where the legality of it is relatively all over the place, whether you can stream it or not. In fact, its hosting location is probably out of reach from DMCA, which is why it's operating so freely on the internet. That's another big aspect of the internet too. When you want to look at things like illegal content, I mean, DMCA content can be very illegal in the sense that, you know, you obviously can't host an entire movie, but the internet is under jurisdictions of different parts of the world. So usually DMCA law isn't applicable if, let's say, the server is hosted out in Russia or parts of Asia, where the United States DMCA just doesn't have the ability to truly enact or enforce the shutdown of these websites. And it's not like they can block you from accessing them. A VPN will immediately bypass that block. So really, you can watch these movies, you can watch DMCA busting content outside of the country. And honestly, there's almost nothing that stops the user from uploading DMCA material to other YouTube-like services in countries that don't have a DMCA agreement. And now that you know this, when the next few entries on this entire page, this Burgie web, keep mentioning stream videos and like BunnyTube and whatnot, a lot of this basically falls into this category anyways. These sort of gray market streaming services that effectively exist. I don't even think this is Burgie web material. At this point, this has enacted something new, and we're going to call that the Fisher-Price levels of web access. It's streaming video, guys, not some crazy Hollywood-level snuff production. Let's be real. All right, buckos, you with me so far? Because we're into the deep web, level 3, the real meat and potatoes of this whole endeavor. So we got a fair bit to cover over here, so sit down, buckle up, and let's go see what the deep web consists of. Now, on the vanilla sources refer to something I have no idea about, but I guess if I had to really guess, and I had to meme this section out, I'm going to read the Wikipedia definition of vanilla software. It's basically a term used in computer sciences and software to refer to hardware and algorithms used in their original form. Imagine playing Minecraft without mods. Truly disgusting. The next few entries refer to illegal video material, and in a shocking turn of events, it's not exclusive to the deep web. If you want to find lots of illegal material that can land you in a federal watch list and in a federal prison, then there's plenty of surface web areas to go look into. Shock material in general is what the internet culture is necessarily made of. If you skip the totally illegal material, if all you're doing is looking for gore and shock, then, I mean, there's a very popular website known as Run the Gauntlet, which actually has a safe for work version as well, but in referring to the adult version, like I am, you can sift through tons of gore and death primarily, and there's also, you know, that cringe version that you can get down to if you want the safe for work version, but there's plenty of messed up videos in Run the Gauntlet alone, and plenty of those videos are the exact type of videos that I've seen floating around half of these deep web snuff video archives. Again, we've talked about this literally 2 weeks ago, where you were able to grab material off of, let's say, any like snuff website like LiveLeak, for instance.
Did your friends ever like show you random shit like this in high school and shit? Bro, I always had like that one person in a group chat that would send like some fucking cartel video or some shit, and we would just all like fucking get out the group chat, just say fuck you, or like start typing so we could get the video out of the fucking out of the range of view. Like, there was always that one fucking person that did that stupid ass shit, like, every time.
And have it freely accessible and uploaded to the deep web. It doesn't make it mystical. It doesn't make it weird or anything. They just literally uploaded already accessible material on the clear web to an Onion server, and that's pretty much what it came down to. Sex tapes, celebrity scandals. Now, these are something that are present on the deep web, and one incredible example for this is known as Pink Meth. Now, nothing to do with drugs or anything. This is actually an incredible website to leak nudes of ex partner. So basically a massive repository of complete revenge pornography. And in most places, that's highly illegal. And at one point, it was briefly accessible on the deep web, somewhere around 2015, and ever since then, it's just not found. And rightfully so. Nobody wants
you know
to
what we're
upload
gonna do?
revenge porn, and nobody should have
We're gonna go right
accounts,
before the next topic.
computers, and a few keyboard operators.
All right, we're gonna go to right here.
Tor.
Look, this is where the spicy shit comes right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. At this point right here, you guys keep this little 28 minutes and 16 seconds. You guys keep that in the back of your head. We're going to make a part 2 to this video because this video is already 30 minutes long. And we're going to go ahead and end this video right here. You guys have a beautiful day. Go follow my Twitch down below. Go follow the main channel down below. If you guys need to contact me any kind of way, that's down below too. Remember, always taking sponsorships. We're going to be playing Alien Isolation, doing a whole bunch of deep web videos, stuff like that on Twitch. You guys have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you beautiful people later. Bye.